ready?
Yeah.
Ancient and tradition pharaohs by
Vera, Lexi, and me.
Yeah. All right.
That. Oh.
General Pharaohs. Pharaohs were centered around the concept of life after death. Some pharaohs were seen as elements or controllers of water, earth, air, fire, etc. Pharaohs were highly thought of figures. Pharaohs were both religious and government leaders. They were the rulers of ancient Egypt.
Oh, it's me. Hi. Pharaoh Hatshepsut, or how we like to say it, Pharaoh Hash Brown. That's Lexi. She was a queen before her husband died, and she wanted to trade rather than start wars, because that's smart. Be like her. Because she had to prove to everyone that she was a good leader because she was female. To do that, she wore a beard. I'm not hallucinating.
A beard.
And clothes of men to show power and control. Art and architecture thrived in this time, and her nephew was Thutmose III. And citations. And let's see.
Good data.
Okay. Pharaoh Amenhotep. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Okay, so Amenhotep came into power around 1370 BCE, and supported by his wife Nefertiti, he tried to change Egypt's religion. He believed that the priests had over time gotten too much power. But when people opposed this, he started to take people's land. Amenhotep also changed his name to Akhenaton, meaning the spirit of Aton. After he changed his name, Akhenaton, he moved the capital to the city of Thebes. Akhenaton, however, wasn't pharaoh for very long before he died, so his 10-year-old son, King Tut, came into power.
You got it.
Thutmose III re-established Egyptian control in Palestine and Syria. His aunt was Hatshepsut. I'm not the best at pronouncing her name, but Hash Brown. There we go. He tried to erase all memory of his aunt because he didn't want a female to mess up the male blood. He was a pharaoh in the New Kingdom period.
And I have a slide called Pharaoh Khufu, who you might have heard from the last presentation, Snake's chart. Pharaoh Khufu we know very little about because his reign was from, see if I can do this, 2590 BC to 2568 BC.
So 22 years.
Yeah, 22 years. 22 years. Khufu is also known as Chops, or I don't know if that's how you spell it, but Chops. He built the Great Pyramid of Giza in his reign, which is really cool. The pyramids, thanks Char. And he was the second king of the 4th dynasty. His son, he is the son of Hetishpheres. Hetishpheres. That big. Hetishpheres. Who was queen and Queen Shefu.
I thought it was Sephira.
Well, there's no N in it, so Sephiro, and then citations, and then Lexi, and then slide.
Okay, so Menes came into power roughly. Oh wait, no, he was like pharaoh for roughly 3,407 to 3,346 BC. Menes was a great leader and was remembered for many reasons, most of all because he united Upper and Lower Egypt and established Memphis as the capital. He is still regarded by some scholars as the legendary military conqueror that unified Upper and Lower Egypt. However, others think Lower Egypt had already been conquered at least a generation before.
Mine. Oh, I mean it is mine. Alright, so Ramses II. You all know this guy. If you were in the play, Adler, you know him? Her, Cora? Yep, okay, sweet. He was the strongest military leader and grew popular because of the fame on the battlefield. He fought to expand Egypt and restore damage to the Sphinx, which was earlier talked about. He is nicknamed Ramses the Great because he's so great. After his death, Egypt started to fall, though, which was kind of sad because great is now bad. That rhymed.
Okay. King Tut was an Egyptian pharaoh who ruled Egypt from around 1332 BC until his death in 1323 BC. Tut was only 9 years old when he became pharaoh after his father. I think he's actually 10. However, well, yeah. Even though he was young, a number of significant changes occurred in Egypt during his 10-year reign. Tut was a good leader, but the main reason he is famous is because of something that happened centuries after his death. After his passing, British archaeologist Howard Carter discovered King Tut's burial site in Egypt's Valley of the Kings. It was the most complete Egyptian tomb ever discovered.
You're next.
You're next.
Okay. Oh, okay. So this is also this is also my diorama, you could say.
Mhm.
So let me just talk about it. So the pharaoh headdresses, the white one was called the headjet, and be very and carry the box. You guys, I believe in you. And its contribution meant the upper Egypt power, which is the lower part of Egypt, because that's how Egypt works. And the red hat, which Amelia is showing, is called the
Nope. Back up.
Deshret.
Can I see it again?
Now, right there. Now, turn it
Deshret.
around. Yeah.
And its contribution was the lower Egypt, which is the upper part of Egypt. And then this thingy over here is the blue and gold hat, and its name was Menes, which is really close to Menez. And its contribution was it was a headcloth worn by rulers of Egypt, which was kind of like the pharaoh. 'Cause I guess you could say it's kind of closely related to King Tut. And both the headjet and district together were called the Phoenicians, which is.
And what did that symbolize when they were worn together?
That was Menez uniting Egypt.
So that was the unity of uniting it all together, with both the white and the red together. And they've got that in the upper corner there,
Yeah.
and in her diorama.
That's the last slide. There you go. Oh, thanks. Good luck.
Okay,
Sure, you can hold it.
so this is my Cleopatra that I made.
Very cool.
Cleopatra lived from 69 BC to 30 BC. She was one of the few female pharaohs. She was born in Alexandria, Egypt, and she also died in Alexandria, Egypt. Her full name was Cleopatra Philopatra the seventh. She was the third daughter in her immediate family, and she became the pharaoh after she was the queen.
You want me to do this stuff? Who's next?
Lexi.
Get your staff. I gotta get my food.
Okay. Okay, so this is a crook thing. I don't really know. It's called a Ross scepter thing. I don't know that I said that right. It basically
basically was a symbol of authority dating back to pre-dynastic records of Egypt between 6000 and 3150 BCE. Noblemen
Claire,
officials.
that's gonna be for you.
Wait.
It's Claire.
It also related to noblemen officials and hieroglyphic denotations.
My turn? Oh, my turn. Well, maybe I'll tell you this. I did too.
Okay, so the next thing that we're going to be talking about is this big thing. You may have noticed.
I'll tell you when we spin it.
So we're going to start on the alive side. So when the pharaohs were alive, it says alive, yes. When the pharaohs were alive, they were the royalty of Egypt, as you might guess. Egyptians thought of pharaohs as sons of God,
Look up there.
or more.
Look up on the
than human.
screen. They got it for you.
Don't look at the dead side.
Don't look at don't look at that side yet. So they were both the religious and government leaders. They were treated like celebrities when they were. Pharaohs often wore turquoise, which was a symbol of prosperity, and gold, which was the color of the gods. Pharaohs could be male or female, but they were mostly male. A pharaoh could become a pharaoh at any age. The youngest pharaoh, King Tut, started at age 10 or 9. Okay, it's spinning. And
Yeah. Okay, so there's the dead
side.
Yeah. It's dead.
Dead.
Screen. How can you not see? Okay, just go back to the top. Why are we looking at Jason's family?
In their pyramid, they had their riches, dead pets, and some food, and their servants for the afterlife. They had these. Yeah, wait, I already said that. Sorry. They mummified the bodies to preserve the bodies for the afterlife. So okay, so we're back at the alive side now, and just take a picture. Okay, I'm talking. And so here you can see the pharaoh is riding in his carriage with his cow.
Bye, Claire.
And you can see these the people are watching the pharaoh. Yeah, they're dum-dums. And his cat is patiently waiting over here. And so then if we go to the other side, you see inside there, you can see the pharaoh right here. He's in there, and his dead cat now is in there. And then you can see in the background there's some apples, which is the food, and there's
Jason, stop.
the cat's right here. And they had their riches, and then there's some apples, and on the wall we put some hieroglyphs. Yeah, so there's the hieroglyphs, and yeah.
Alright, so there's this really weird thing that I looked up earlier. It was like right after we ended our project. I don't have a diorama for it. But you know how like pharaohs like to keep like the bloodline in? They like to have like generation after generation
The dynasty.
dynasties. So pharaohs, they would like the first pharaoh, they had like a child obviously. this is gonna sound really weird, but they would have a two-child. They had a boy and a girl, and then because they wanted the bloodline to stay equal, and like I don't remember where I got this from, but I just memorized it. They wanted the bloodline to stay strong, so they made the brother and the sister have a child, and they got married.
No, that's right. That's
they
correct.
Had a child, and then
They wanted to keep all the family and not have other bloodlines, and so
Yeah,
they
exactly.
would. Yeah.
And what would happen if they didn't have a girl or a boy and they had like twins or something, as Lexi was saying? The firstborn would always be the pharaoh. The firstborn male would always directly be the pharaoh. But if that person died, the secondborn, if it was female or male or not, it doesn't matter, would become the next pharaoh. And if they couldn't find anyone that was like in the bloodline, like sometimes they would use the parents to marry the child. That was also Lexi. And if they couldn't do that or anything, then they would choose the next higher up class to
Find the person to
Yeah.
continue the line.
yeah. So
Because they wanted to keep the dynasty in the family bloodline. Yeah, whack, right? But yeah.
all right.
Are y'all good?
We don't have a thank you slide, but
Okay, that's fine.
I made one, then they deleted it.
Well, so I wanted to ask you, how long did it take for y'all to make the big pyramid there?
that was Amelia's.
That was mine.
Sorry.
How long did that take?
Well, I just remember it was,
It's a lot of hours, right?
no, I didn't do it on the weekend. I did it when I got home once I was done with all my homework.
Well, it's really cool. And how long did the knitting take? I mean, crocheting.
That one took, I don't even
It's
know.
crochet, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. How long did it take?
It was just a few hours to make.
No,
Wow.
A few.
it was like
All right, give him a hand. All right, let me.